Okay, today we're going to talk about subject-verb agreement. Subject-verb agreement means that the number of the subject matches the number indicated by the verb. What do I mean about number? Well, let's look. Remember, singular in English means one, and plural means more than one, or two or more. So that's what I mean by number. In English, we're talking singular and plural. Remember, singular nouns name one person, one place, one thing, or one idea. Plural nouns are two or more people, places, things, or ideas. Also remember, singular nouns do not have an S or ES at the end of the word. Some examples would be teacher, fish, and home. Notice no S or ES. Now, if it's a name like Jesus, that can be singular because it's one person, so it is singular. So what is a singular verb? A singular verb is a verb matched with a singular noun. So it's one verb matching the singular noun. Okay. It does have an S or ES added to the end of the verb. Let's look at an example. The dog barks. S has been added to the end of the verb. Notice how the subject, dog, does not have an S. So it means we have one dog and that dog barks. So what is a plural verb? The opposite is true of a plural verb. It is matched to a plural noun, and S or ES is not attached. So let's look at an example again. The dogs bark. Notice how dogs has the S, but the verb this time does not have an S, because if I said the dogs barks, that doesn't make any sense. That's why it's called subject-verb agreement. If they don't agree, it's not going to make sense. So here are some tips. Between the subject and the verb, only one can have an S or ES added. Let's look at another example. The girls dive into the lake. Girls has the S, and dive does not. If I said the girls dives into the lake, that doesn't make any sense, so it's not subject-verb agreement. There are 3 times when subject-verb agreement does not follow these rules. They are when you have a compound subject, where there are 2 or more subjects listed with a conjunction, which we'll talk about soon, or you use the subject pronoun you or I. So examples of these three exceptions are mom and dad ride the bus to work. Notice how there are 2 subjects, mom and dad. We don't say mom and dad rides the bus to work. You go to school. We don't say you goes to school. And I like cookies. I don't say I likes cookies. That just sounds weird. So those don't agree. But you'll notice there's no S in either of the last 2 actually any of the sentences. So they're exceptions to the previous rules. There are irregular plural nouns that do not just add S or ES, which we have talked about previously, but just to remind you, some examples are deer, sheep, women, and men. All right, now pause here. Copy these verbs and mark them as plural with a P or singular with an S. Make sure you bring these with you to class.